Happy Halloween! I'm Walter Benaziac and welcome to 2017's final October Top 5. Today we continue to cover Are You Afraid of the Dark with its best gruesome ghouls. As I said in my best episode list, there's a lot I wanted to cover with this show. Just 5 episodes weren't enough. I didn't get to focus on what made this show scary, the monsters. A good portion of the episodes I put in my best list didn't feature the best villains from the show. Some of them did, but I felt like the truly scary monsters deserved their own list. Thus, I have excluded those villains from today's countdown to break down characters that I haven't covered yet. No repeats. One more time, submitted for the approval of the Channel Awesome Society. I call this countdown the top 5 best Are You Afraid of the Dark monsters. Number 5. Zeebo the Clown from The Tale of Laughing in the Dark. Zeebo is pretty well known among fans of the show and was featured in one of its earliest episodes. Zeebo was a clown in the 1920s who stole his circus's payroll and when chased by police, ran into a nearby funhouse. While hiding, he dropped his cigar and was trapped inside as the funhouse burned down around him. He perished in the flames, but years later, the funhouse was rebuilt and a Zeebo dummy was installed at the ending. In this tale, a boy named Josh brazenly steals the Zeebo dummy's nose on a dare. However, that didn't sit well with Zeebo himself, as Josh begins to realize just what he has done. Once again, scary clowns are in right now, but Zeebo is much more subtle than a character like Pennywise. It's about what you don't see.
Give it back. Give it back. If you don't give it back, I'll come up and get it.
Zeebo is all intimidation, and in the creepiest way possible. This is my favorite bit from the episode. There's definitely a mystery surrounding a few elements of Zeebo's haunting and the spook house, as they call it. Like the circus carny in front of Zeebo's funhouse. He obviously knows what's going on. Is he Zeebo without the makeup? What's his connection? The episode speculates, but never tells us.
It's the most fun in the park when you're laughing in the dark.
Fun fact, that's Aaron Tager, aka Dr. Vink. He also voiced Zeebo. This is the only time he ever played another character on the show, and they're both memorable ones. Zeebo is mentioned kind of a lot throughout the series, though we never got a true sequel. In any case, Zeebo the Clown is a signature villain on this show.
What do you think I am, some kind of clown?
This next one's a real knee slapper. Number 4. The Ghastly Grinner from The Tale of the Ghastly Grinner. A lot of people were pointing out that this episode was missing from my best list. The Ghastly Grinner is an evil killer clown created by comic book artist Sylvester Uncas. Uncas soon realized he had concocted something terrible and tried to destroy his work before it destroyed him. Unfortunately, the Grinner got him before he could accomplish his task. Years later, Uncas's daughter is in possession of the only printed Grinner comic left and recruits a young artist named Ethan to finish Uncas's last story and finally kill the evil jester. The Ghastly Grinner is known to feed off people's emotions and leave them blue-drooling idiots. The Ghastly Grinner is up there with Zeebo as one of the most well-known villains in the series. We don't see the Grinner in person until about 16 minutes into the episode, but the build-up is well done. Seeing people fall into the Grinner's lunacy is almost as unsettling as he is himself. When he does show up, they do a great job at making him creepy as hell.
What's the matter, kids? Can't think of joke?
When he uses his powers to turn someone mad, it's pretty damn terrifying. Okay, no more clowns. I hope. Number 3, the Dark Music Monster from The Tale of the Dark Music. I don't see enough discussion on this one. The episode and villain are great. The Dark Music Monster lives in the root cellar of a house owned by a man named Niles. It's only active when music plays and consumes humans by luring them into the cellar. Depending on the music that's playing, the monster presents itself in different forms. Niles' great-nephew Andy and his family move into the house when Andy's mother inherits it. Andy soon discovers something eerie is going on, as whenever music is on near the door, it begins to rattle and eventually opens, revealing horrifying visions. I love the concept of this monster. It's a great idea and catalyst for a story.
Hello, Andy. Come on in.
The different forms this monster takes are pretty disturbing. The carnival guy is one of them.
Oh, don't stop now, son. You're almost here.
What's the matter, Andy? Don't you want to have some fun?
But by far, the scariest was this giant doll.
Hi, Andy. Won't you come play with me?
Holy balls! What the hell? Just when you think it can't get any darker for a kid show, the ending tops it.
I'll give you anything you want. You only have to do one thing.
What's that?
Feed me, feed me.
Or you're gonna get it.
The kid's gonna feed people to that thing. Goodness gracious, this episode. All of this is great, of course, but the cherry on top is that Roger from Doug guest stars in this story.
Hey! You mess with me, kid, and I'll deck you.
Cut it out, Roger. You mean yank it out, don't you, funny?
Kid, you are toast.
Toast! Number 2, the Pool Zombie from The Tale of the Dead Man's Float. The design of this thing alone warrants a spot on this list. In the 1950s, a graveyard was moved to make room for the expansion of a high school. All the bodies were taken out of the ground and placed in the new location, except one. The new school expansion was for a pool and soon opened. One night, a boy named Joe was swimming alone when he was inexplicably pulled underwater. The attending lifeguard, Charlie, tried to save him, but an unseen force kept Joe underwater, where he eventually drowned. 3 more people died in a similar fashion, and the pool was closed and boarded up for 40 years. The pool zombie is invisible until a boy named Zeke pours methyl orange into the pool, turning the zombie all red and revealing his rotting skeletal appearance. The only thing that warns of this creature's arrival is the strong smell of decay and acid. Another great concept and catalyst for a story. Just look at this monster rise out of the pool. Damn, so well done. I really like the backstory on this guy. It's very smart and well thought out. The opening scene setting him up decades earlier was a strong way to start off the episode. Yes, that is a young Jay Baruchel playing Joe. He would appear on the series a few more times once they revived it for the final 2 seasons. Now take a look at more of the pool zombie in action. That is just so cool. What a great design and villain. How they beat him with science isn't a bad ending either. Has anyone ever tried to cosplay as the pool zombie? If so, I would love to see it. These monsters made us afraid of more than just the dark as kids, and there are plenty that could have made the list. So here are the ones that just missed the cut as honorable mentions. And the number one best Are You Afraid of the Dark monster is the vampire from The Tale of the Night Shift. It was close between this guy and the pool zombie, but the vampire might be the most threatening villain on the show, period. This unnamed vampire only needs to feed every 50 years or so, and shipped itself to a hospital to do just that. It can shapeshift into many forms and uses those guises to infiltrate the hospital and its staff. Slowly, it turns almost all of them into zombified versions of vampires. It's up to volunteer worker Amanda, patient Colin, and a resisting new vampire named Felix to stop him. The vampire's design is amazing. It has a lot of zombie in it, which makes him that much more chilling. His first appearance in the episode is maybe the scariest moment of the whole show.
You know, I don't think we're supposed to...
I really don't have to say much. Just look at this thing.
We haven't been properly introduced yet.
The craziest stuff in this episode happens when Amanda lures the vampire to the roof so Colin can have a shot at destroying his coffin. What happens up there makes him the best monster in the series.
I shall drop you and then lick up what's left. No, the old-fashioned way is best.
I have to show how they kill him, because that's equally as nuts. An epic demise for a ghoulish villain. After watching Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps back to back, I feel like I have a pretty strong perspective on the strengths and weaknesses of both shows. But which one is better? Go ahead and check out a new video on my personal channel where I present my thoughts on this question. I want to hear what you guys think. What is your favorite Are You Afraid of the Dark monster? What do you want me to cover next on the show? Leave a comment and let me know. To stay in touch, like my Facebook page, facebook.com/awesomewalterb, and follow along on Twitter to take part in more polls about what may be covered in the future. Come back next week for a marvelous new episode of Top 5. Happy Halloween!